Hey everybody, you're listening to A to Z, episode 28. Today's guest is best-selling contemporary romance author Lyra Parish.
It's like they're trying to be too meta.
You're gonna make them an offer they can't refuse.
Yeah.
You can buy you a drink. You can
Well, I mean, he did pick out somebody we know.
Will you sidestep the question? That technology does not exist. All right, let's do it.
Hey, everybody, this is Zach. I'm here with Aaron.
Yo, what it do?
Welcome to A to Z. If this is your first time listening, thanks for checking us out.
A to Z is produced sort of weekly, and show notes can be found at a2zpodcast.com. If you like what you hear, feel free to hit subscribe on iTunes, Google Play Music, YouTube, Stitcher, CastBox, Spotify, basically anywhere, you guys.
And you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at A2ZBMT, where you can find updates, clips, and extra content.
We got a couple of Facebook groups too. So
we got
sure
A to Z podcast movie night group.
Right.
And then we also have the A to Z podcast group.
Yeah, so if you want to jump on there and just like look at dank memes with us, there you go.
That's really what it's all about, is just sharing some dank memes. And today we have on Lyra Parish.
Yeah, Lyra Parish, she is a best-selling author. She's been on the USA Today's bestseller list. She's also been on Amazon's top 100 list.
Yeah, several times.
Yeah, so it's kind of a big deal, and we're very lucky to have gotten a hold of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of cool stuff. We talked about
publishing, self-publishing.
Self-publishing.
Talked about, writing, how she became a writer. And we also got into, kind of what her books are about, what she does to co-write, because Lyra Parish is her pen name, so we talk about that a little bit,
She has
too.
a few. She has a couple of pen names, right?
Yeah, and Kennedy Fox is another one,
right.
too. So we had on an author, we had her talk about her books, which means that we have got some books that she signed. So yeah, we have 3 giveaway books with her signature on them. Yeah,
guys, those are pretty cool. So all you have to do to enter that is you just have to like A to Z podcast on something.
Subscribe to it.
Facebook or Instagram or wherever, those type of things. And then you also have to be a subscriber for the podcast on any one of those platforms like iTunes or Google Play or whatever. And leave a comment. So if you do those 3 things, if you like us on social media, if you're a subscriber on YouTube or whatever, and you leave a comment on somewhere, then you'll be entered in to win one of these signed books.
Yeah, we got 3 to give away, so just go do that thing, and we'll send it to you. We'll email it to you, or we'll mail it to you.
Except first, if you comment first, you're disqualified.
Yeah, or free bird.
Yeah, something like that.
Or anything dumb like that. But anyway, if you like what you hear, hit subscribe, leave some reviews, comments. We want to hear your feedback.
Even if it's bad, we don't care.
Even if it's bad, we love bad feedback.
We do too, because then we can get better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also, just a little side note, the music for this is provided by Will Young, who is one of our previous guests, probably, I think, our second episode that we put out, the beta episode. And he provided the music for this because he did the music for some of her books, because Lyra Parish is his wife.
That's right. We get into that in this episode, and it's really cool, the interplay that they did on that series of books.
So you're listening to Zinj, is what the band is called, and we will be seeing you in the break.
All right.
That has to carry like a lot of things. They always send you a makeup bag with every single thing.
Ipsy.
Yeah, Ipsy.
Ipsy, yeah. That's the thing that's at home that I haven't opened yet.
All right, so today we have Mrs. Courtney Young.
I like how you
otherwise known as well, Will's here too, everybody. So say hey, Will.
But we didn't give him a microphone.
Yeah, we didn't give him a microphone. This isn't about Will.
He's loud enough without it.
But I was glad to have him back too. But you are also otherwise known as Lyra Parish.
Yeah.
And you are a writer of, what's the
erotic fiction?
Erotic fiction.
I would say more contemporary romance.
Oh, okay.
With erotic scenes. It's not like 50 Shades of Grey. I mean,
I don't really think that's very erotic anyway. But it's just me.
I mean,
it's pretty erotic. I mean, you got a red room of pain, toys, chains, whatever. I actually haven't read the series, so kind of a poser there. So
well, you write them, so
Yeah.
I read it. Whenever it like blew up. I was like, okay, I need to see what all this fuss is about. And
Yeah.
I absolutely hated it.
There was a lot of dudes that read it.
I absolutely hated it. I was like, this guy, the main character, Mr. Gray, was a robot. He was the flattest character I've ever read in any book ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like there was no depth to him whatsoever. The only depth that they gave him was completely manufactured. It just felt gross.
Yeah, well, there's a whole fandom that would find you and track you down if you say anything terrible about 50 Shades. So
Well,
I'd be careful. My
that's
people,
they can tell me that.
they will find you.
I'm gonna call them basic when they find me.
Oh my gosh. I like the movies. Jamie Dornan's one of my favorite actors. And so I watched all the movies, but I was a little confused because I didn't read the books. And they skip a lot of stuff. So constantly I was like,
Well, the book is always better than the movie.
well,
I mean, come on.
of course.
Especially in
but
erotic fiction.
Probably not this time.
Oh, yeah?
I really hate that book.
I like the movies.
I've heard it was poorly written. It was more... But no, we promised not to talk about writing, though.
Well, E.L. James is laughing all the way to the bank. So
I know.
Hey,
yeah,
that
yeah.
woman is,
Hey.
My hat's off to her.
yeah.
I thought it was a dude that read it.
No, it's
that's
a
a
lady.
girl.
Oh.
It's a girl who got her start writing Twilight fan fiction.
Yeah, that's how it
Online.
started.
So how did you start? Like, what's your
What's the
story?
story?
Yeah, what's the story on this?
The story. Well, I really didn't want to grow up and be a writer. It was not something that when I was a kid, I was going to be like, when I grow up, I'm going to be an author. It didn't happen like that. In 2011, me and Will, we were camping and we walked to this historical marker and I was just like, oh my God, I had the greatest story ever reading this historical marker. And we walked back and I was like, hey, I'm going to write a book.
So wait, that historical marker inspired you to write a book around it?
Yeah, well, not
So you're
really.
doing historical marker fan fiction?
No, well, it was just like an inspiration thing. I didn't actually start off writing romance. I started off writing young adult books.
What was
Yeah.
the story? What was the marker?
Well, it's this historical marker that's in this park called Hodges Gardens in Louisiana that is no more. And it was about this chestnut tree and how it was shipped on train to Louisiana to this park, and this family basically met there every year for their family reunion underneath this tree, and there was this big plantation house in front of it, and like it was, you know, just like a regular historical marker, but I was like, oh my
Kind
God.
of put you in a place reading.
Yeah, and like I turned around and I remember just seeing like how these trees were lined up, like you could almost like envision where the house was, and like I had this whole like huge story based on this thing in my head, and I was just like, I'm gonna write a book. I'm writing a book.
Sounds like it just came to you in a flash.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was.
you're getting excited about it right now.
It was weird.
I mean,
it was
just thinking back to it.
It was strange, and so I said, "Will, I'm gonna write a book," and he was like, "That's random." You know, and I was like, "It is, I know."
I mean,
but
he said that that's random.
He
Like the
did.
amount of interest that this guy has.
he was like, "Totally, that's random," and I was like, "I know it's random." Like back then, I had an iPhone, 2? I don't know, 2011. Picked up my iPhone and I was like writing notes in my notepad on my iPhone as we were hiking back to our camper. I'm not even kidding. And every day since then, probably March 2011, I've been writing in some way.
Yeah.
So you were literally like possessed.
Yeah, I have been. Maybe
the
there was like
the writing ghost just jumped
Yeah.
inside your body.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been there. It hasn't left me.
You will write now. You will write now.
Yeah,
That's what-
exactly.
Wow.
It was strange. It was really weird. And around that time, there was a lot of basically news about self-published writers, because self-publishing hasn't always been around.
Yeah.
It was basically created.
2011.
It was about
Amazon
2000
was when?
2009, 2010 is when people started self-publishing.
Yeah.
But you started hearing a lot about it in like the end of 2010.
That was like the beginning of like whenever they started making Kindles. Was like in 09,
Yeah.
10, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was a different world back then. And I mean,
It was ebooks.
it was ebooks, yeah, and anybody could publish a book. And I mean, now the market's oversaturated, but back then I was like,
there was probably somewhat of an exodus too. There was probably like
Well, now there was a lot of fan fiction online,
Yeah.
and a lot of these
Yeah, there was
erotic
a lot of
kind of stories. Not
forums.
just young, but there was
Yeah.
all kinds of forums that had it for the longest time. But I guess it finally started to come to a point to where you could actually, legitimately like publish
yeah, you could
and
totally
not just put it out there.
like
Right.
your grandma could write a book and you could type it up for her and make a cover in PowerPoint or however people were doing it back then and totally just publish a book. And that was open to basically anyone. And, the publishers, they had like a monopoly over books. People couldn't just put their books out there. I mean, there was ways to do it, but not in 2011.
Right.
And self-publishing was a thing. And I was like, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to self-publish it. And, you know, I wrote a young adult book. I worked on it for a good 6 months. And then in November of 2011, I needed more inspiration because I didn't finish what I had started. I just was writing and it was fine, but I was like, man, I want to have something that's complete that I can like share with people. And I heard about NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month, and it happens every November. And
they give you kind of restrictions?
There's like a whole community built around it. The goal is to write a 50,000 word book in 30 days.
How many pages is 50,000 words?
You know, a lot of people ask me about pages. It's like
I know the pages doesn't really matter.
It's like one of the number one things. I would say that 50,000 words would probably be about 175 pages.
Oh, that's not.
I mean, 200 pages maybe.
Never mind. I'm not even going to try to say that's not that big.
That's
a lot.
That's larger than a novella, sir.
Yeah, it depends with
It's
your
a novel,
pages
yeah.
because, you know, you got 6x9, 5x8,
Right.
5.5 by 8.5. Like, what size
I was
book
trying
are we talking
to I was
about?
trying to get a generalization of how much, because it sounds like a lot, but
It's a lot. I
It
mean,
is a lot.
50,000 words is
Yeah.
it's a full story.
so it's kind of like a race. You kind of have to just
Yeah.
throw out the rules.
You're on a time limit,
Yeah.
and you sign up and you check in and you put in your word count, and at the end, whenever you finish, like they have this big video that plays and a celebration, like.
Wow.
And I actually did it. I made the 50,000 words. Like,
So who's the organizing body behind that?
it's NaNoWriMo. I think it's a nonprofit organization,
Okay,
and they
okay.
just kind of like inspire people to go out there and write. And I always tell people, like, if you want to write a book and you've always wanted to start and you don't really know where to start, just to know that you can do it or that you have it in you to start something and finish it, sign up for NaNoWriMo. They've even got Camp NaNoWriMo now, which is, I think it's in June or July.
So it's like a couple week thing.
Yeah, it's for an entire month.
Oh, wow.
So 30 days, 50,000 words. If you do it, you win. They got coffee mugs you can buy. You get a winner certificate.
And you're not sponsored by these people or anything like that.
No,
It just really helped you out.
Yeah, it was one of the main reasons why I had the motivation and like kind of the confidence to actually finish a book.
Yeah, so you kind of credit them as to giving you that skill.
NaNoWriMo.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you.
And that's a shout out to anybody who's listening and
Yeah.
think they want to do that too.
NaNoWriMo.org. It's pretty cool every November. I kind of call that my fiscal year because November was the year that I like really started and finished something. And I was lucky that after I finished the book, I was searching like what to do with your NaNoWriMo project. And there was this contest where you would win a publishing contract, the top 3 people who entered this contest, whatever. And I ended up winning first place.
Wow.
And the book
With the
was-
one that you wrote in 30 days?
Yeah. The book was horrible though.
Yeah.
It never
What was
got-
it about?
It
was it about that plaque?
It was
that history
a
plaque?
young adult novel, and you could probably still find it on Goodreads, but it was a young adult novel, and basically it was about this girl who had like, it was vampires and magic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really cheesy and corny. And I like had written out like a 7-book series. I was going to be the next J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Like it was in my head. I'm J.K. guys. But no, I signed the publishing contract and
That was a good joke. Sorry, I just had to
Yeah.
pause on that.
it's cool.
JK.
Yeah, for real. I was going to be the one who wrote the next Harry Potter series.
You were going to be the next billionaire.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
happen like that though.
Wow.
I mean, I signed the contract and then about a year into it, first mistake I made was I didn't write in chapters. So it was 50,000 words just written straight out.
Oh, wow.
It was horrible.
What is it, the Dharma Bums or whatever, that thing that he wrote on like a continuous scroll?
I have no
Or
idea.
was that it was one of those classic novels. I forgot which one. On the Road, maybe. Anyway.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. I think On the Road was
He
written.
wrote. It's like a big manuscript. It's like this big
Yeah.
around.
On the Road was like drug fueled, like just romp.
Yeah.
So it was just continuous. It's like marathon writing on
I
so
don't
many
think that's your
substances.
technique though. So,
Yeah.
so
No.
you didn't split up into chapters and it kind of screwed you up.
It was like 55,000 words of just straight writing. And so the publisher wanted...
How did you even keep all that in check? You know?
I don't know. It was like I was
just
just
kept it all up here.
writing like a Muppet or something. I was just
Yeah.
like, just going
It's
after
like the
it.
typing cat.
Yeah, basically, exactly like that.
Meta, man.
Oh, we're so screwed up. We think in gifts now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually what I was like. Yeah, but it was the publisher wanted like a draft. They wanted like a final draft of it, and I was like, yeah, I don't have chapters. So guys, if you're listening and you're starting, please write in chapters.
Yeah.
It's like the best thing you could do for yourself. Basically,
Your life is in chapters, man. Why don't you write in it?
That NaNoWriMo book taught me a lot of things about myself, and that book will never be published. It's on my hard drive still to this day. It's printed out in a notebook. I've had it edited.
It's a good reminder, though, isn't it?
I did put it into chapters eventually.
Yeah.
And rewrote some stuff, and it ended up being about 65,000 words, but you grow whenever you write. Every time you write a new book, you learn something different about yourself. You learn about a new strength you have or a new weakness you have, and that book was like my weak link. But it was the book that paved the way for me to know that I could do it.
Your mistakes and your wins kind of create, your thing. That's how you learn. That's how you become what you are.
For sure.
By having both of those things happen and being able to recognize that is good too.
So I have a question too, and this is so you after you won that contest, you got picked up by a publisher.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And then now you actually self-publish your books. So one thing that I'm really curious about, like what the difference is, and before we actually started, we were talking about self-publishing and the differences and how going through a publisher is kind of like not doing yourself any favors. But whenever you're self-publishing a book, you self-edit, because that seems like the big strength to me for going through like the content, or like the same old route with it, because you get an editor.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well,
somebody would have looked at that book and be like, "Hey, you need chapters."
Yeah. That book, we'll move past that.
Yeah, but that was just my example.
So whenever you self-publish, you're basically the CEO of your own company.
Right.
And that's how I look at self-publishing. You are the top. You are the president of your company, and you are responsible for making sure that you have a professional product that can compete with professional level authors. And so I have an entire team of people that help me. I have an editor. I've got a proofreader. I've got a cover designer.
Wow.
I used to.
And these are people you picked up over the years.
These are people that I've added to my team. I have a partner now, also right under the pen name Kennedy Fox.
That's right. I saw that you. I saw that you.
So USA Today Bestselling duo.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we've made USA Today 4 times.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I thought it was Amazon. You did Amazon too, right?
Oh yeah. So what USA Today is it's basically a chart that it's like a list, and
it's like
the
Billboard.
best-selling books, it's like Billboard. You've got New York Times and you've got USA Today, and we haven't made New York Times yet, but we've made USA Today 4 different times last year. Yeah, it's a big deal. It was one of my author bucket list things.
They don't put that in a separate category as like digital books, self-published books, or anything like that. Like it's all.
No, it's like
you're competing with the big dogs.
Yeah, we're competing with J.K. Rowling.
Wow.
I mean, we're competing with basically everybody who publishes books. And
that's insane.
And a little self-published author, Kennedy Fox, made USA Today 4 times. I mean, it was our first year to really be published, and starting in January, we had made it every other month all the way up to like July. So we had like January, March, May, and I think July was the last time we made it.
So you have Kennedy Fox as your newest one, your newest pen name, and then the other one's Lyra Parish.
Lyra Parish, yeah.
Whenever you did the first thing that you had published, that young adult novel, was that under your name?
Yeah, I was going to publish under Courtney Young, I think. But I got out of that contract. It was just, I realized how much publishers, how much they don't do for you.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with like a small press.
Well, they take your money.
They take your money.
That's
they
what
take
they do
50% of your money. Most of the time, they're not like promoting you. Like you're still doing a lot of the work yourself, and they decide everything. They decide your editing. They could give you a shitty editor.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hope I can say shit on here.
Oh, totally.
You say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. They'll give you a shitty editor. They'll give you a shitty cover, and they'll be like, okay, good luck. And they'll make us money, you know? And a lot of people go that route, and it's really sad.
Well, it's for exposure, you know?
Yeah. Like, why would you do that? So I got out of that contract, basically, and I was like, I'm not going to write young adult.
Did you have to get out of that contract by fulfilling it, by doing that
and
somewhere
I basically
on the books,
told them that I wasn't going to let them publish my book. after about a year. And they were like, okay, well,
well, you got to write another one then.
well, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I want to cancel this entire contract. And they were like, you know, a lot of people at that point was trying to cancel their contracts with them because they sucked. I won't name drop them, though I really want to.
That's classy.
Yeah,
that's classy.
I'm being professional.
Yeah, we name drop all the time. I probably should feel bad about it.
Yeah, it's cool. Those authors that will probably listen to this and hear me talk about this, they know. Like, you get out while you can. Still, we're in 2018, guys. This was 2012 when all this crap happened, and many of you are still there. What are you doing with your life? Self-published. So, I had a friend who kind of like, I was just really good friends with her, and she was writing kind of like fantasy type novels too. And she said that she was going to go to romance, and she published a book and she made USA Today, and she was like killing it in the indie scene. And this was in 2013, and it was the summer of 2013. And she's like, why are you not writing romance? Like, basically all of your young adult books have a romance underlying element. Yeah. Like, put sex in there. What are you doing?
So what makes it a romantic novel is sex.
Well, not really, because there's clean romance that fade to black, you know, and they go into the bedroom and close the door. Well, and then the next day they wake up and they're happy. Yeah.
Oh, like the scene.
Yeah, the scene fades to black, so you don't actually see.
Then they allude to it.
Yeah.
Who's reading
that was
those?
a fun romp.
Hey, there's a huge.
Well, I didn't want to be rude, but I had these pulled up.
Is that
just like kind of?
Oh God!
Like, this is what I remember. Like, this is what I remember from like that's more boy stuff.
Oh yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Where's my deodorant?
The dime novels.
These are making fun of things.
Yeah.
But I remember this kind of stuff as being like the dirty romance novels.
Yeah, I think that's.
I've never read any of them.
That was just like the dime. I remember that. Yeah, dime store novels.
Yeah.
Those you always that's what you see when you go on a Goodwill and you look at the
exactly. You can get those books for 50 cents at Goodwill.
Yeah.
you know something strange is one of my dreams is actually to be a cover model on a gay erotic novel.
I can make that happen for you.
Can you really?
I know photographers.
I want to do that so bad. I don't know why.
Hey, do you have abs?
It's just like a bucket list.
If not, you need to work on that.
But I'll Photoshop them. I can Photoshop. I can get them pretty quick.
People want
I can get them in
the
about
real
a month.
thing.
I can get them in about a month.
Yeah, they don't want the lines in Photoshop. You know.
I really need like a something to work like towards. I need a goal. And if somebody was like, "I'm putting you on the cover of my gay erotic fiction," I'm like, "All right, cool."
Hey,
I'll get
you have
abs.
the beard. You know, mountain man romances are really in
That's
right
it.
now.
Yeah,
So,
I think you got that lumberjack shirt.
Or like
dude.
like a hobo. Maybe I could.
No, I'm telling you,
like
mountain
a
man,
gay hobo.
lumberjacks,
Sexy gay hobo.
They would totally go for it. Women are
Dope.
totally into
Well, hook
that
me
right
up.
now.
I want to do it.
Women are
I'm
into.
in.
Wait, do the women read the gay?
Yeah,
romance
a
novels?
lot.
Yeah,
Really? A lot.
dude, totally. There's
Much
a whole,
more. That's the whole market.
Really?
There's a
No
whole
way.
thing of women who, and now the new thing is, I just went blank. Reverse harem, yeah.
Oh, so it's
like a woman
Yeah,
has
so
like
a
a whole
woman
bunch
has
of
like
men.
4 dudes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
That's like really in right now too. I'm not kidding. Like there's
Cool.
there's like a lot of
equality, man. I mean,
but it's
right?
weird because some of them
Right.
are like,
Yeah.
you know, his 4 brothers, and I'm like, isn't that weird for like brothers?
Maybe.
Like,
I don't know. Classic film.
I don't know.
Seven wives for
I
seven
mean,
brothers.
Eskimo brothers, you know. I mean,
yeah, but they're all doing the same. I don't know. It just kind of weirds me out. Like I question
as
a
long
lot
as
of
nothing
things.
touches, it's not weird, right?
I mean,
guess.
you've been on Tumblr, right? So that's not very weird.
I know of the dark side of Tumblr. Yes.
All right. I mean, I've seen
Yeah.
like Sonic porn.
How did
so
you go from
it's
young
not-
adult novels to? So yeah,
Exactly.
you were just talking about
Yeah.
that. So like you were writing contemporary fiction.
Well, my friend was like, "You need to be writing romance." She's like,
Yeah.
"You have to do this," and I was like, "You know what?
Was it for a money aspect or was it for
was
like
just, like,
more viable
it's-
in the market?
Yeah, like young adult, it's like ebb and flow. Like right now, if you didn't have a publisher, I think it would be kind of hard to sell
Yeah.
young adult books
Well,
self-publishing.
isn't it it's also like I mean, no, not talking about y'all's age or anything like that, but it's like as you get older, like writing for young adults does it not make as much sense? I guess. I mean,
No, I
as
don't think
children,
so.
children would probably be pretty.
I think a
the
lot
same.
of older women read YA.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
for sure.
reliving the
See,
past kind of thing.
I read YA. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I do. Like that's what I like to read is young adult books.
I don't read like the fantastical like YA books, but I read man, what I just had his name in my head. I read John
John Green.
John Green.
Yeah, he writes
because I just want to cry sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
So
let it out, man.
I read Looking for Alaska first, and I cried my ass off.
I actually haven't read any John Green since I've
it's
been
the
writing.
best.
I
It's
haven't
the
really
best.
been reading.
Yeah.
It's
My
horrible.
reading is just terrible. I read nothing but nonfiction.
I do too. Those are just kind of quick, you know.
Yeah,
And
they're easy reads.
They
Like
teach me how to be
I
human.
need
so I read 'em.
knowledge more than.
I like dystopia novels, like you
Yeah.
know the world's ending and
I can get
everything's
down
just
with that.
shit.
I
and
think
then you
we're
have
both
these
science
two,
fiction guys
yeah.
too. So.
Yeah.
You have these
Big
two
time.
like teenagers like save the world. Like I love that
Yeah.
stuff.
Well,
Hunger
it's-
Games, like
Yeah.
Hunger Games was good.
It was a good book. I think I actually read.
I
most
read
of
Hunger
those.
Games like when I was like 23 or something.
Yeah,
fucking
totally.
hipster.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hunger Games was good. For real.
was
So
good.
so
Moral
you
instruments.
had to get into writing this stuff, romance.
Well, my friend was like, "You need to write romance," and I was like, "Yeah, dude, I could totally write romance." And then one day I'm driving to work, and I'm like, "Oh God, I'm gonna write romance. What am I gonna do?" And NPR has this story that's about this woman who sells her virginity on the internet.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh,
It's like an eBay thing.
My God, yeah, she sold her virginity on eBay," and I was like, "This would make the best story
do you have
ever."
do you have like the Dewey Cox moment where like he realizes a song title and he's just like
Just starts
you
writing.
just zone out and just start going.
Oh yeah, so I went home that day and I started writing my first romance novel
Wow.
based on
But
that
based on
premise.
a premise.
Yeah,
Selling
about
the
selling your
virginity.
virginity. Yeah, that was
Did you
my
give her
first
like
one.
a good backstory? What was it called?
It's called Week for Him. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon right now. Amazon, it's into Kindle Unlimited. If you have that subscription, you can download that baby for free. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
is this like more like hot and heavy, or like is this? I mean, did you tend to get more graphic as you got on?
yeah, I would say
Because it
so.
probably didn't start with like hot throbbing members.
Well,
Probably it moved into.
I
that,
hate
right?
that analogy, like hot throbbing
No, well,
members.
no. There's
like,
a there's
it's
a
so
there's a
just-
writing joke that I've seen that talks about how male writers write
Yeah.
sex novels and how female writers write.
Oh, I know. I've had Will tell me how he would write a sex scene,
Because
and
they
it's
use like
raunch.
the most graphic terms.
Oh yeah. There people will read it though, dude. And if they know that you're
Yeah.
a man writer, some of these ladies are just like, "Oh God, it's a guy writing these sex scenes. It's so much hotter." And I'm
Really?
like, really? Like, I need to just pretend to be a man online. And there's people who do that. I have not done that, guys. Like, if you're listening to this,
Well, like catfishing.
yeah. There's ladies who know that men can sell erotica and romance books.
So they
and
change
they'll-
their pen name.
they'll create another one and they'll pretend to be a man, and some of them are shady as fuck. So I mean, it's
Well,
I would never do
they get
that.
their
Artists,
husbands to like
crazy.
stand in.
That
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
That recently happened. It was a big thing. where
really?
this-
So she was writing them all, and the
yes,
husband was
and
the guy
he
who
was
like doing
he
the
was
book signings.
pretending to be
Yeah.
a bisexual writer. Apparently, if I'm getting this story right, I
Now,
hope
did
I
she
am.
make him make out dudes too? Like, did she do that?
No,
Like,
but he would go to signings.
really cuckold him. You know?
He would go to signings and stand in, and people believed it was him, and then it came out that it was really her writing all these books.
It came out that he didn't come out at all. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was married to her, and he wasn't bisexual, or he wasn't gay. I think he was full on gay, and then it
Yeah.
came out that he was married to a
Wow.
woman.
That
and
is
stuff.
like incredibly unethical.
Yeah.
totally.
So when it came out, I guess she's done, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
his publisher dropped him and dropped him. I say in quotations.
Her, yeah.
It like broke the internet for the indie
all
community.
over, like, Reddit
yeah,
and
it was
stuff like that.
everywhere. Like I
When
couldn't
was
get
that?
on- It was probably like a month ago.
Oh, wow.
That's all everybody was talking about was this dude, and like he would like make up these stories in his Facebook group, and
Yeah.
people would donate money. Like he pretended he had cancer or
So they were
something.
making a living
Oh
from
my
this.
gosh.
Oh, so they were totally swindlers.
like they were
too.
scamming.
Oh,
They were
wow.
totally scamming. Like I don't know the ins and
Scamming
outs because it
hard.
was so many threads of this stuff, and I was
Right.
like, I got a book due. I ain't got time for this. Like seriously, somebody give me the cliff notes.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some big scammers out there.
Wow.
Sounds like a deep community that you're talking about.
Oh,
the indie
totally. Yeah,
writing
it's like a big
community.
niche community.
Oh,
I'm sure.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, think about all the fan fiction that's just put under like Boner Dude 69. You know,
Yeah.
like there's millions of those out there.
Dude,
There's
and-
millions of those.
And Wattpad is full of fan fiction. There's
what is
people.
Wattpad? What is it?
Wattpad is where you can go and basically.
Can you write and it like doesn't get your name on it at all? It's completely anonymous.
Yeah, you totally could.
Wow. No, I mean I know that, but like I thought there was like a website where it was something based around that, where they're just sharing
I don't know.
and they wrote novels or short
Well,
stories.
with
or
Wattpad,
something.
you can create an account and put stuff up and you will get followers, and now you can get like publishing deals doing that and movie deals and everything else. Yeah.
You get like people rating you and give you
they'll rate you and like there's one girl who is super successful from writing One Direction fan fiction basically on Wattpad, and she's had like millions and millions and millions of reads. Her books are getting turned into stories, and they're thick. They're like the biggest books ever, and she writes them on Wattpad, and then her publisher publishes them, and I mean, she's doing well. She would write them on her phone at Target when she was at work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just like you said, whenever you saw that monument, you just started typing to your phone. Is that?
Oh yeah.
Is that like your big thing? Is typing to the phone? Really?
Yeah, like
that's where you do your notepads. I guess you expand on them later.
Yeah, if I'm on the go, like I'm like, oh, I got this idea. I need to write it in my notes, or I
bet you have like millions of notes.
Oh, I do. I have the first time I ever wrote like this main scene for Week for Helmet still in my phone, because with iPhones you can just keep transferring it all over.
All to the new. It's on the
cloud
like,
now. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm laying in bed and I just have this crazy scene, and I just write it in my phone, and it's still like that in the book. So, yeah.
I would have downloaded diction software by then. I'd be like just talking to my phone.
Oh, I can type. I can type much faster. And plus, like with diction, I feel like I would be like, blah, blah, blah. And if Will's sleeping, he really doesn't want to hear me talk about selling sex into my phone, So he'd be like, can you please shut up? It's 2:00. I'm trying to sleep. And you're like over here talking about selling sex on some black market or something,
eBay's not a black market, okay? It's a gray market.
Hey, they're shutting all those websites down now. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So you have a tie to this community. Do you have a tie to any of the, I mean, you would have to do some research if you're not graphic, but if you're getting more into like these people are playing these roles, you have to get some research done into, what role they are, what they do, and maybe even some of these sex scenes. Would that do you have to do that? Do you have connections to other like groups like that?
I like
like a sex positivity kind of thing.
I mean, most of the stuff that we've written, we're not going somewhere to look for sex ideas. I mean, my partner knows about the dark side of Tumblr and, but basically sex scenes are not like my favorite part to write. I'm kind of like, oh God, I've got to write this sex scene and it needs to be 2,000 words. Like seriously, like I'm like one of those wham bam, let's get it done. I want to write it in 1,000 words and be finished with it.
Yeah.
But she goes,
it's got to be a 2,000 word.
Usually, I mean, if you have a sex chapter, it needs to be like
a chapter of sex.
3,000 words, 2,500 words. You can't just be like,
because this is probably one of the last chapters in the book. You've been building up to this moment.
Oh, it just depends. Right? Like one of the books we have, there's the blowjob scene in the very first chapter,
Nice.
So it just depends. If it's like a slow burn, which means it takes a long time for the characters to actually get together, like you're not going to want a 1,000 word sex scene. People who read that are going to be pissed. They're going to be like, I waited 80,000 words for them to finally bang. And now it's like, oh, they banged and it was over. And then they go on about
he has erectile dysfunction. We didn't know this. So.
Like they want clothes.
That would be pretty realistic.
That would be really anticlimactic.
People would be pissed. They would hunt you down and then end it on a cliffhanger after he can't get it up. Yeah, they would hate you. They would totally hate you.
I want to do it now. I kind of want to try my chops, man.
Well, look, if we're learning anything from this whole thing is self-publish.
Yeah.
Start writing. Go camping, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get in touch with yourself. Mm-hmm. Get an idea. Start writing it down.
No psychedelics.
I don't know. I'm not a writer.
Sure, go for
I got
it.
my spirit animal back here, so it's
whatever inspires you, man.
Yeah.
Whatever inspires you.
Yeah.
You want to take a little break?
That's exactly what I was about to say. Let's take a little break and come back refreshed.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, and it's our sponsor break.
Yeah, let's chill out for a moment.
This one's a little different. We are going to be sponsoring, or we're going to be pimping out Trash Bash Level 2. It's happening on August 11th. It's a punk fest at old Nathan McRae's at 2555 Giroux Street. So August 11th, it costs $5. There's a lot of bands. I'm looking at the Facebook page right now. You can find it on Facebook. We might even share the link. You got the Disgustoids, Maxi Fads, Seaman Demon, Two Heavy Boxes, Sodomy Cop from Austin, Rob Wells. What up, Rob? American Psychos from Houston, Super Thief from Austin, Sketchy Trench from San Antonio, and the Ramblin' Boys. Hey, it's an all ages, all day event. BYOB for 21 and up. Use designated drivers, obviously. Underage drinking will not be tolerated.
Try to carpool too. There's not that much parking.
Yeah. Carpool if you can. There's not much parking over there, and it's going to be an all-day outdoor event in Texas. So bring plenty of water, sunscreen. umbrellas, whatever you
bug
can.
spray.
They will have water for sale for cheap, and the proceeds will go to the bands, so you can just go buy water if you want to help the bands out. But it sounds like a cool little festival. So 2555 Giroux Street, August 11th, guys, Trash Bash level 2.
Mark your calendars.
And we're going to get back to this episode with Lyra Parish.
It would be a waste. Will's beard isn't big enough.
It doesn't.
How
dare you beard shame
Beard
your
shaming.
husband?
Beard shaming right now.
dare you
You're
beard
supposed to
shame
be
your husband?
progressive, okay? You write these novels about
I
these dirty
am.
things. No, it's
All,
kind of looks like that, right?
all beards matter. Okay.
hashtag?
Hash Brown's beard matters. Anyway, well, we're back from the break, you guys. That was so goofy. While we were away, we kind of talked about, well, too many things, but one thing we decided we're going to talk about is, so Courtney's on YouTube, and you have a lot of content.
That's right.
on
No,
there.
we didn't know that you did a YouTube thing. You
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
You help novelists or
People
aspiring
that
writers.
are starting and
Yeah.
just getting off their feet.
I have a lot of people ask me questions about writing, people in my real life, people in my online life. And so I was like, I'm going to create a YouTube channel that kind of revolves around telling people what I know. When I first got started in 2011 time period, started publishing in 2014, there wasn't a lot of people talking about self-publishing. I mean, there was, but nobody was like, hey, you need to go do this if you want to self-publish.
Right.
And so everybody always asks me, well, what's the benefit of you doing that? And I'm like, I don't make any money off of it. I mean, I'm just spending my time, but the benefit is that maybe, I can reach that person that needs help, that doesn't have somebody to tell them the things that they want to know. And I kind of created that for my past self, the person who was looking for that information. And so I was on a schedule, but I had a book release on April 17th. It's called Needing Him. It's everywhere, guys. Kennedy
Him.
Fox. Yeah.
It's everywhere. Download it.
Go
Read
download it.
Do you have actually published books in paperback format?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I've got them in the trunk of my car right now.
Can
Yeah.
we get one signed by you?
Yeah,
We'll
sure.
give it away. We're
Yeah.
gonna give it away.
Yeah.
We'll do a nice giveaway.
You totally
Yeah,
can.
awesome.
Me and Will went around town and was taking photos from my Instagram.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, man, I've got all these books. Let's go around town. So I've got a copy of every book that's ever been published in my trunk right now.
Awesome. We
Oh,
want
wow.
we want your favorite.
That's like choosing your favorite child.
We want your
I mean,
favorite child.
I
Everybody,
don't.
people say there's no favorite. There's always. I'm my mom's favorite.
Seriously,
I'll say that.
so many people, I've been going live on Instagram and in our Facebook groups and a bunch of groups lately because we just released, and I'm the extrovert of the duo. So I'm all out there and I'm like, hey, I'll talk to you about anything, and my partner is an introvert. She doesn't she'll do the social media stuff, but she doesn't want to be live on camera,
Right.
stuff like that. And so a lot of people recently have asked me, they're like, hey, what's your favorite book that you've written?
it's kind of-
And I'm like, there's 17. So 17
all of
books.
them, guys. Just
All of
go,
them.
go buy
Just buy
all of them.
I'm always like, don't judge me for the books that I wrote when I first started writing, but
Yeah.
But you still love them, though, right?
yeah, they hold a special place in my heart.
Right.
I still think they're
well,
good.
I mean, there's probably a moment in your life that you could call back to because you spent so much time working on that.
yeah.
On each one. But so you have this YouTube channel that is for helping with that. Do you help them with? Do you help them with the act of publishing, the act of writing, or everything around building kind of your name?
It's basically writing tips. The last videos that I've made was why you should have a newsletter as an author. How do you get people to subscribe to that newsletter? It's very basic stuff. I'm not making videos for people who have been writing for 20 years and already know all this stuff. This is basically for newbies, for beginners that just need to build a solid foundation. I have maybe 15 videos. I forget because some of it's got my travel from Wyoming on there. So there's, it's that channel's kind of transformed. But I want to help people and I don't get anything out of it. I just spend my time doing it. And hopefully, if somebody makes New York Times, they go, hey, thanks, Courtney, Lyra, Kennedy, all the freaking names you have. You really helped me in the beginning. So, yeah.
You get the feel goods out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a part of my characteristics, like my personality traits. Like I want to help people.
Right.
It's like, you know, the type of person that I am should probably be like a teacher or a coach or something that can be like, hey, you should do this, you should do that.
Yeah.
And so I just get satisfaction when people message me randomly and they're like, hey, I found your video on YouTube and that helped me so much.
Right.
Like that's the payment that I get.
Totally.
Well, it helps even more than being a teacher. The world we're living in now with these gosh dang internets, really like allows you to teach yourself anything. Honestly, education is so readily available in any form. It's better than high school.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could do Khan Academy. You could do any number of these infotainment channels on YouTube.
Yep.
Learn anything. You could go to your YouTube if you want to learn to be an author.
Yeah.
And so, if you say that you should be a teacher, I say you already are one.
Oh, yeah. That was
Totally.
deep. That was deep.
Totally.
Yeah, YouTube's like the second searched place past Google. So
Yeah,
like
they own both of them. How scary is
yeah,
that?
is
that is
Google,
scary. So like you've got Google, people are Googling it, and then if you're a visual learner, you're like going to YouTube to try to figure out something.
I've learned the oddest things off YouTube.
Me
I've
too.
learned how to change my brakes.
How to chop onions.
Anything.
We
Yeah.
installed our dishwasher by watching a YouTube video.
Yeah, you just
I'm not
type in.
kidding.
Anytime I have to work on a car, I look up YouTube
I
videos.
do too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Almost
all-
every time.
They have different little intricacies and just
Plus,
like,
it's like some of them are done by these country people, and it's awesome. All right, so what you got to do is you got to pull this panel off right here. If you don't pull that panel off, you smack your knuckles on it, and it hurts like a bitch. Trust me.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just but it's the sharing of knowledge, and it's not even just that, but you have a really encouraging kind of way about you, because it's one thing as an author, same thing that we had to go through as doing this, as being a host of a fucking podcast in Beaumont. is getting to a point where you have knowledge and allowing yourself to say, I have knowledge in this and it needs to be shared.
And the,
Yeah.
knowledge, and the knowledge comes from making mistakes.
Yeah, well,
Like,
that too.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also somebody thinking, it's like, who am I that think that I can just write a novel and put it
Yeah.
out? You know what? And that's people need to hear that they can do it.
Yeah.
People need to
Exactly.
have that encouragement and see that other people have done it. And and if you once you get past that, then you're just sharing this knowledge and you just help making the world a better place. Really, I think.
Yeah, and failure is like the greatest teacher ever, you know? And to be able to be like, hey guys, I've been in the indie publishing world since 2011.
Yeah.
May not have published till 2014,
Yeah.
but you know, I've got a lot of knowledge about this, and it
Yeah.
just kind of spews out of me. Like, I'll just see my friend and they're like writing a story with their kid. And I'm like, you should publish a novel. This is how you do it, you know? And everybody's like, you need to calm down. I'm
Become
telling
like a
Will.
cheerleader, yeah.
I'm like, Will, hey, have you ever wanted to write a book before? Because I can teach you everything you need to know. And he's
I think you and Will share that though, because I mean, Will's the same way. Like
Yeah.
he learned about the glass stuff and he's teaching people about it. He has his
Yeah,
page.
exactly.
Like y'all kind of you have that same kind of mindset, and it's really amazing.
Yeah.
Like y'all probably would have been professors or something like that had you. I think y'all are too entrepreneurial to be working for anyone too. Is the other
Exactly.
thing? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. The same thing with the old world publishing and self publishing is the same way I think education's happening right now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I
look-
mean, this is technically an
yeah.
educational podcast, I would say.
Yeah, we're learning.
Yeah.
I would call it like infotainment.
Infotainment.
I wouldn't call it like educational. I would just call it infotainment.
Yeah, I say too many naughty things for it to be educational.
Well,
Well, somebody's learning something.
I know I am every time.
Every time,
I mean,
yeah.
that's what we get out of it. Is like,
Yeah.
it's like, what are the odds that we get to sit down and talk to somebody that knows what you know and does those things? So it's like, yeah, it's good to have these conversations.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And there's not a lot of people in our area that are at the level that I'm at in this. And like, I've put out searches. I'm like, hey, is anybody in Southeast Texas writing books and,
Yeah.
you know, have been doing this for a long time? And it's always like old guys.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, Jay Cooker's dead.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like
Arthur's-
older,
What's
like
his-
65-year-old dudes that have terrible covers. No offense, guys, but it's not for me. And like, I'll see them, like, there was like the Boomtown Music Fest, and they had some authors out there, and I'm like, oh, you're an author in this area? And you know, it was just like, yeah,
They're
no,
writing
we're,
about birds or something.
yeah,
like that.
we're not on the same level. I can't really
like,
talk
like
to you about
nature
this.
novels and
Yeah, like about their childhood and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not into this. And we actually have an author who is like at the top. Her name's Maya Banks, and she lives in like Jasper or Buna. She lives in Buna.
Really?
And
What's she write?
romance. She's
Yeah.
been around since like the early 90s. And,
Really?
and I didn't tell people my pen name when I first started writing. It was my little secret that I got to keep to myself, and I got to be however I wanted to be. Like, there was nobody holding me back. And I kept making hints on my real life profile. I'm like, hey guys, I'm writing a romance book. And people message me and they're like, are you Maya Banks? And I'm like,
oh no.
She's been writing
I've heard that
since
name
she was
before.
like since 1992 or something.
Yeah.
I was not writing at 9 years old.
Why did you hide your name? Why are you not now?
Well, one of the main reasons is because I work in a corporate business basically, and I had to sign a social media policy in 2012. Wow. It was like a corporate wide, hey, social media is becoming a big deal and you need to sign all these papers regarding social media. And ever since I put my name on those papers, even though they've never said anything to me else about social media, it was just something that they rolled out. Ever since then, I was like, I am never going to tell them anything that I'm ever doing online. Yeah. I don't want them to ever be able to Google me. Yeah. I don't want people from work to be like, oh, she posted a Facebook status during working hours, because it's a lot of old school people.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys see what Courtney posted? She said,
exactly.
She said, fuck a job. I'm going to flip bricks till I die.
Exactly. And so it's, time has passed to the point where I'm like, I don't care who knows anymore because my time is very limited at that place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, you got a case of the fuck it's, didn't you?
Yeah.
We were talking about that with Blake in the last episode we released.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't give a shit anymore. Yeah. Like, y'all know, I tell people at work now, I'm like...
props, girl.
Yeah.
Isn't that the best? Is that not the best
It's the
feeling?
best. Yeah, like, because I know, like, if...
It's almost like you came out.
Yeah, I
call that. I'm not comparing it.
No, I'm calling it coming out of the literary closet for real because it was a secret for so long.
You should write a book about that.
Coming out of the literary closet.
I'm talking about like seriously, like not like nonfiction. Like because it's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
And if you write nonfiction, Zach will read it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I'll totally read that. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm looking at your covers right now, and they're just not that appealing to me.
Yeah, right. You know that you like it.
I mean, it looks it looks like a poster for like a nightclub. It's really attractive.
Will actually wrote music to Ace for me. I released an album with that book.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he talked about it. Yeah.
He wrote me some songs,
for
which
Ace?
is pretty cool. Yeah, for Ace.
So that's you?
Yeah.
That's you, Will?
Yeah. That's Will, yeah.
Okay.
He's on the cover.
Yeah, go check out Ace on Amazon by Lyra Parish. This is Will's. That's Will's body, yeah.
Damn,
dude.
I've kind of let myself go since then.
You do CrossFit?
Will you
he does do CrossFit.
Man, you were like in gay shape, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, it's now when I'm at work, I'm like, if my boss really pisses me off, I could just be like, fuck off. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to walk on up out of here because I can make it without you. Like, I don't need
this
you.
isn't going to get you in trouble.
Yeah, I don't care. Are they really going to listen to it? Like, really?
I hope so.
No,
that would be good for us.
my work.
Well, no, I mean, if it got to people like that, then like, wow, we got a really good reach.
They know. Like, they already know. Like, I've told them. I say almost every week, my days are numbered.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because I've numbered them myself.
Good.
So you tell them, you're like, look, I got this foot out this door.
I haven't told my boss, but I've told everyone else.
So it's common knowledge.
I met a buddy of mine on a job, and we, in the business that we work in, we do like kind of like we're contracted.
Yeah.
And he had this term to describe leaving a company. He said, "I fired that company."
Exactly.
And whenever he said, I'd never heard that in my life. And whenever he said that, it went like click in my head.
Yeah, because you're the CEO of your own business.
Of you.
You decide if you want to go to work the next day.
Whenever he said that, it really fucked my head up for a while.
It's powerful. It's powerful to know that you're in control of your destiny.
See, Aaron's still stunned.
And that you're in control of if you go to work tomorrow. Yeah. You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. What are they going to do? Call you a lot?
I'm like, I choose to be here, guys. That's the difference. All of you may come here because you have to. I choose to come here every day, so I don't need your bullshit.
Well, that's a powerful place to stand.
Shout out to Vanderslice if he listens. That was his saying.
Well, that's cool though, because whenever you started writing with a pseudonym, you did that probably so you could stay authentic. So you didn't have to have to get censored or worry about your authentic self clashing with your corporate world.
Yeah.
And now that you're kind of dropping it in the way you're acting at your job, you are authentic. So it's kind of like you merge together.
Yeah.
The way you started with a pseudonym is
now
just
you seem like you have like a steel confidence of what you're doing.
Word.
I do. I really do.
Because you're very confident and like you're very excited about it. It's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, I believe in myself like Kanye believes in Kanye, so
sure.
that's all you got to do. I mean, I think that if you have If you have that confidence in yourself, you can really accomplish anything that you want.
Yeah.
And when you break through like that block, that mental block that you're keeping for yourself, you can accomplish so freaking much. You know, people, they may say, you can't do that. And I'm like, I will show you that I will do it, and then I'll rub your face in it. You know, I'll make sure that whatever I do, I'm going to be successful at it, or I'm not going to do it.
Fire.
So what's your YouTube channel where you're helping up and coming writers?
It's called the Courtney Project.
Courtney Project.
You can go to thecourtneyproject.com and
because you're
and
getting
check
me
it out.
jazzed right now, and I'm like, man, people.
You want to write a
hear this.
book? I can teach you how to. I'll teach you how to write a book.
I don't want to read his book.
I probably could.
If you could write some porn, well, we won't even call it that. Some people get offended. If you could write some
Erotica?
then there you go.
I don't know if I could write
The Courtney
erotica.
Project. Look at you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
hit that subscribe. Everybody go to the Courtney Project on YouTube. You can just hit it in the search and hit subscribe.
Yeah.
Please.
There's tons of stuff. I need to update it, but it's on my list of things to do.
Yeah.
God, you got the video thing figured out.
I'm not a very good writer. I'm actually very good at coming up with premises and writing synopsises for film because I went to film school. So
Yeah.
but actually writing out the interconnectivity and how you actually the nuances of going from A to B to C is lost on
Well,
me.
if you're good at plotting, I
can't
feel
figure
like
that out.
you could write a book. What you do is if you're going to try to write 25 chapters, write 1 through 25 down on a piece of paper and write a sentence what's going to happen in each chapter, and you build basically that chapter upon that sentence. And as long as you stay with your outline, then by the time you get to the end, you should be good.
That sounds easy. Yeah. That sounds like
Yeah.
construction. That
Yeah.
doesn't sound like,
Basically, I mean, when I started out, I was considered a pantster, and that basically means that you are the type of writer that basically writes by the seat of your pants. You write, you don't know what's going to happen, whatever.
yeah, see, I can't do that. It's like it's like the difference between painting and photoshopping,
Yeah.
right? Like I can Photoshop whatever because that's like construction. It's,
Yeah.
all right, cool. I'm gonna take this one, build this. I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna do that, and then there's the blank canvas effect. If you're actually trying to paint, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Just like the blank page effect when you're
Yeah.
writing. It's like,
I've said that about live sound in the studio several times, way too many times.
You just have to plan it out. You just have to plan it out. With Kennedy Fox, the duo that I'm a part of, we plan out basically our entire book. You know, we'll plan out the first 5 chapters. We'll write those chapters. We'll FaceTime
Do
and
you
talk
each
about
have
it.
strengths that you allow each other to just hold down those areas, those types of
Yeah,
writing?
yeah. We're both really.
It's almost like you combine to make like a super author.
That's basically what we did. We're very alike. We're both kind of hard headed.
How did you meet?
We just met online.
Have you met them in person?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. We were a part of this multi-level marketing company, which I wouldn't recommend that to anybody.
so you're a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, it was a pyramid scheme, totally.
Yay.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me right now is that you worked for Abacare?
No, it was LuLaRoe, if you want to get
okay.
technical.
Okay, I was trying to.
I was
have
I was
any of
slinging
y'all, have any
leggings.
of y'all had somebody that you barely knew like say, hey, do you want to get lunch sometime and I'll talk to you about something? And then you get pulled in. I had that happen to me once. Some musician guy, some drummer. And he called me up and I was
I
like,
just
oh,
stay
this is
away.
cool. Maybe he has like a gig, you know?
Yeah.
And then I get there and he's like, I would like to present to you
Super
an
berries.
amazing proposition to.
No. I told somebody else tried to wrangle me into their multi-level marketing pyramid scheme, and I told them I don't have time for this bullshit.
Right.
Good.
I've got like a real business that I'm working on right now, and I
Yeah.
kind of like being the boss of my own business because with that you still have to report to somebody.
Right.
And that's not my life goal.
What is your co-writing partner's name?
Her name is Brooke Cumberland.
Brooke Cumberland. Is that a writing name?
Yeah, that's her real name, and she writes underneath that name as well. She has like a bunch of books on Amazon as well. Yeah,
So
and
you-
Kindle Unlimited too.
So you met her online.
Yeah, we were
and
both
you
on the
guys
same.
clicked.
We were both on the same team,
Right.
and a lot of people don't realize that Lyra is a pen name and my real name is Courtney.
Right,
And
right.
so I was like, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm actually this Courtney Young person, and you'll probably see my face, and I don't want it to be weird. Like, hey, I
Right.
know this person. Like, we're
Right.
friends online. And ever since then, like,
Hey, this chick, she's cool.
yeah. I was like, hey, you know, we're both writers or whatever. And we kind of like talked about writing and doing LuLaRoe. And then finally one day I was like, you know what? I freaking hate selling dresses. I hate selling leggings. Like I hate LuLaRoe and I hate everybody who buys it. Sorry, no offense.
So you fired that company.
I did fire that company,
Hell yeah.
and I told her, I said, I want to get back to writing. Selling skirts isn't my passion. Writing books is my passion. I thought that would help me quit my job quicker so I could continue writing books, but it kind of replaced it. And I was like, yeah, this is not what I expected it to be. I'm quitting. And she was like, I'm quitting too. And I was like, cool, let's write together. That's kind of how it happened. And she was like, I've always wanted to write with somebody. And so she had been working on this book. She sent me the first chapter and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And so I wrote the second chapter and immediately that's how we started, just sending chapters back and forth.
Did you guys use like a lot of online tools when you collaborated?
Yeah, we still do.
Basically just emailed each other.
No, it's even easier than that.
Google Hangouts and
it's
stuff
Google
like that.
Documents. You can see live updates.
Yeah, we Google Docs.
I mean,
too.
you can see her cursor and everything.
You can watch them write, and we even
you can leave
edit
notes and we have so many tools.
Google
it's
Docs.
all Google, man.
We have so many tools.
Google Docs is awesome.
They have our ass. Is what
Yeah.
They also have like preform things. You can just like Google search docs and anything you want. If type in like weekly calorie counter or something and you'll find someone else's doc.
We do Google Docs for our pre-orders for signings.
You guys are like y'all are like the postal service of writing. Just sitting each other. Yeah.
Yeah, but Google Docs, I can see her
is
writing.
that too old? That's too old of a reference.
No, I think it was like a pen. They're like pen pals, but they make money with it.
Oh,
we're like online pen pals, creating other people's stories.
Well, it's the power of the internet. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Like what, 15, 20 years ago, that it wouldn't be possible.
No.
And we've really been sucking the internet's dick this whole time.
I don't care. I mean, it's an amazing thing. That's why we get pissed off whenever they want to charge too much for it, and it's slow.
But we have no choice because we're all addicted now.
It's
So.
it's all of the known knowledge of man at your. It's right there.
It's powerful.
I know.
How
me and
can
Will,
you not like be like fascinated?
Me and Will were
by it?
talking last week. Like I remember doing a report in high school about Spindletop, and I remember Googling. It wasn't really Google back then, I don't think, but you couldn't find anything.
Right?
You web crawled her.
You used the little, you couldn't find anything. Like you couldn't find stuff on the internet.
No.
I was like, you still had to go to the library. And now like you Google.
Well, and a lot of the internet things were just on campus too, right? They were basically big LANs.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the beginning.
This
of
was like
on
at the-
That's
universities.
a little before our time. But
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you can get the library in your room, dude. It costs $10,000, but you can do it.
Yeah. Google Docs, it's the bomb.
Wikipedia. What the hell is that?
So you use all these tools, and it's just like it's cool though. How long have y'all been writing together?
We started it was May of 2016, and we released our first book in October of 2016.
Okay, so you started in 2011. I'm just trying to put numbers together. You started
Here,
in
I'll
2011.
tell you.
What was the first year that you put out like a bestseller?
Like a USA Today bestseller or an Amazon bestseller?
Either.
Yeah,
Amazon,
either one.
the first time I made top 100 on Amazon was March of 2014.
So it took you 3 years to get to
Yeah,
the top
I didn't start
seller list.
publishing until
Holy crap,
January.
that is quick.
What
That
about
is
USA
like,
Today?
I didn't start publishing until January of 2014, and in March of 2014, I had made top 100.
that's
Today.
incredible. No. I'm being serious. That's incredible.
Now we're
Just
sucking her dick, okay?
Yeah.
Well, just
Go
to
ahead,
think,
it's big.
but just word, girthy.
Yeah, I got some words for you about it.
It's like
Oh my
imagine all the people that thought they were going to be an author or a writer in junior high and work and practice, and then their parents get them a vintage typewriter when they're in high school.
Yeah.
And they go to college for writing.
Yeah, they get a degree in writing.
They go to Berkeley and they're like, I'm going to be a writer one day.
Yeah.
And then here you come, you go camping,
I know.
you write a book without chapters.
Yeah.
I know.
And then 3
then,
years later,
yeah,
you're Amazon
you're-
top 100.
And
Yeah.
saying fuck your job and
That's meteoric. That is meteoric.
It's
That's ridiculous.
A lot of people say, "Oh, you're just lucky," and I'm like, "I'm not lucky."
Well, Will, you're super humble because I've been hanging out with you for like 3 or 4 years now, and this is the first day I've actually met you, Courtney.
Yeah.
And like I didn't know about all this stuff.
That's meteoric. That's awesome.
That's great. Like,
Yeah, it's not luck though. It's a lot of hard work.
no, it is.
you know?
It's like I said, industrious. It's not
Yeah.
luck. It's not
Yeah.
luck at all. Y'all are.
Well,
on it.
you capture something that people want to read. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I don't know exactly what you would call it. Like if you
It's
were,
a vibe.
and it is a vibe. If we were talking about YouTube, it'd be an aesthetic. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you have hard work, but you also obviously have talent too.
Yeah.
And you just seem to know what people want to read, and that's an interesting ability right there. Just knowing what people want. That is very, very, very valuable.
Yeah. without it's hard to quantize, but you can't monetize it.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
did I use the right words? Anyway. Well, I guess that'll put a bow on it. We'll call it there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, anytime.
It was so nice to meet you.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
Before we wrap it, tell us tell us some information. Like I know
Something
that
coming out.
you just had a book released.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so we just actually started a series at the beginning of 2018. It's called The Bishop Brothers, and it's an interconnected standalone series, which means each brother gets their own book.
Oh,
so
that's
they've got
interesting.
different tropes, but you get to see them all throughout all 4 of their books. And so in January, we released...
So it's different perspectives?
Yeah, it's different perspectives.
Wow.
And so they all kind of cross over, so you get to still see the characters that you fell in love with at the beginning, but you're not like in their heads. So like whenever you continue reading and you're like on book 2, you're like, oh, I remember what happened.
Are y'all
to
taking turns on each book? Like one will write one whole book, or y'all just trade off on both of them? It'd be interesting because you both have different writing styles.
We both continue to alternate chapters. Sometimes we'll write 2 in a row and she'll write 2 in a row, but that's how we do it and it works for us.
So that's the most recent thing coming out?
No, that was the one that released in January.
Book 1 of the series.
That's book 1 of the series is Taming Him. Book 2 is Needing Him. And book 3, which releases on June 19th, is Chasing Him.
Chasing Him on June 19th.
Yeah, you don't have to start at the very beginning. It's recommended, but you can jump right in with Chasing Him.
Anything else? Any links? You could. What's your
Websites?
Yeah.
Instagram and YouTube.
You can find us everywhere at Kennedy Fox Books. That's on Instagram. We've got
Amazon, obviously.
Amazon. You can find us at Kennedy Fox. You can.
And I think if you search for Lyra Parish or Kennedy Fox, it pulls up all y'all's stuff.
Yeah, just go to Google, guys, and you can
go.
find us anywhere.
Word.
We're
Awesome.
out there.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
All right, thanks everybody for listening, and this has been A to Z Podcast with Lyra Parish, Courtney Young.
Yeah. Well, fuck you, Zach. See you next time.
I'm Reba.
I'm not. I'm reading.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm not doing it this
That's
time.
it. All right.
I'm killing it.
All right.
I professed my love repeatedly. I hope things never change. I could say
All right, guys. That was it. That was the episode. Thanks to our guest, Lyra Parish.
Yeah, thanks, Lyra.
Yeah, we appreciate
And
you.
Kennedy. And Courtney.
And everyone else
And Will.
that she goes by, and Will. Yeah, if you like this episode, tell us what you think. If you didn't, tell us what you think also.
Go over to Lyra's Instagram and Facebook and all that, and give her a like. And
Yeah, she's actually a really big Instagrammer. She's given us some tips and tricks. And,
totally.
And she's really into that. And
Yeah, she was a lot of fun to have on. She was really informative and just really good at what she does. So thank you for coming on, and maybe we'll have you back sometime in the future.
hopefully so. And you guys remember those books we're giving away? We got 3 signed books.
Yeah.
So all you got to do
Like,
is
subscribe, and
like,
comment.
subscribe, and comment.
Like, subscribe, comment.
And you might get one of these bad boys.
At least just do one of those things, and we'll probably just put you in the running.
Yeah, maybe.
But we also want to give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers for the month so far. We have old Jordan.
Yeah.
Old
We got
Jordan
old
Stringer.
Jordan J String.
And our new guy is Lance Killian.
Yeah, thank you, Lance. I hate asking for it because I feel like a bum. But, if you guys want to support us, go over there to Patreon. It would really help us. Even if you guys just give $1, that'll help us out a lot. We're in this new studio space, and a lot of that's coming out of our pockets. So.
Patreon.com/A2ZBNT. So next week, we have on space science instructor Amanda Allison.
Yeah, she's a professor at Lamar, right? Yeah.
So we're going to have her on. We're going to talk about some space science stuff and
Biology and space and
biology and space, and I think dogs. We talk about.
stuff. Yeah, we go on a lot of tangents in that one, but it's going to be fun. I hope you guys will enjoy that one.
Yes, that comes out next week. And as always, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
We sure do. Come back next week.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all come back now, you hear? Hey!